Welcome to Gütersloh. The start of Norwich City's pre-season was here in Germany, and it's finished in a 2-2 draw with Arminia Bielefeld, who play in the second tier in Germany. It was a good run out. They had already played 3 games because their season starts a bit earlier than Norwich, so they were up to speed pretty well, and it was intense on the whole. There was even a red card in the first half, which was quite strange. You don't see that. 2 yellow cards for one of their guys. It was quite a lot of niggle in the game. Norwich were a bit annoyed by it. Ben Godfrey also got a yellow card, but the big thing is injuries. We may have got off to a bit of a worrying start to pre-season here for Norwich. Godfrey and Louis Thompson both went off within the first 25 minutes, and Daniel Farke, you might be able to see him just along the touchline there. He's just doing a bit of media, and we're hearing that Ben finished the game in a boot, so he's limping away from here, and Norwich may even need to consider looking at another centre-back option now in the transfer market, given that Christoph Zimmermann is also going to miss 5 to 6 weeks and won't be fit for the start of the season. Tim Closer also wasn't in the squad today. He's apparently got a little bit of a knee issue and probably won't play against Schalke on Friday as well. So a few worries at this stage of pre-season. On the positive front, Norwich fell behind fairly early. Ralph Farman beating at his back post at close range, didn't have too much chance with that one, but Norwich came back and had the lead by half time. Dennis Srebeni with a really nice finish actually. He seized on a loose ball, cut onto his right from the left of the box, and curled a low shot around the keeper into the bottom right hand corner. So good start for Dennis. Did some good stuff, again looked a bit sort of clumsy at times, but in terms of judging players definitively, of course this is the first stop in pre-season. They've got plenty of games to follow. This is very much a tune-up. Just been talking to Kenny McLean, and reasonably happy with the base work, I suppose they are calling it. They had a training session in the morning as well, so it's essentially like a double training day for the players, and that's something they'll be well used to under Daniel Farke, and something that will continue throughout this week in Germany, building up to that game against Schalke on Friday. The other players not involved today, Todd Cantwell, Alex Tettey, Mario Vrancic, all minor issues hopefully. I think Daniel said they were calf problems. Todd Cantwell actually sat in front of us at the back of the stand there. 2,500 people here actually, very much a home crowd. Bielefeld's only just sort of 10 minutes up the road, and there's about 100 Norwich fans in that terrace behind me there. Made a bit of noise, had a bit of fun. We had a chat to some Norwich fans who were out on the tour ahead of the game, and all having a few beers, and quite literally a Bratwurst fan, as you would expect, outside the stadium. So typical pre-season fare. But Norwich leaving here with worries, of course. Godfrey made a challenge, as I say, that he was booked for, and he limped away from that. Thompson, I think his issue was a hamstring, but Farman played a little sort of dinked kick out of defence, and Thompson really had to stretch to beat one of the Bielefeld players to the ball, and then another one, so he was sort of on the stretch the whole time in that. Soon after that he was sort of skinned. He was playing right back because of course there is no cover for Max Aarons at this point, and he was then skinned just sort of down here on this left wing. The player went through, and that's what the goal came from after Farman had made an initial good save. And then Thompson stayed down, and that was him. So of course he's got terrible injury luck already, so let's keep our fingers crossed that that's not too bad. But that's the way with these things, that when you've had a serious injury you seem to pick up the other ones so easily. Being fit and playing football are 2 quite different things. So we're going to have to see how things settle down a little bit. We'll of course be bringing you updates throughout the week, and we'll stay as in close contact with the City camp as we can do. I think we're going to catch up with the under-23s early stages of the week, and then some more first team stuff middle of the week before the Schalke game. Hopefully we'll get a chance to catch up with some of the players, some more of the players then. Anyway, after Srebeni's goal, Josip Dermich, he scored his first goal in Norwich colours. That was a penalty, tucked that away quite nicely, which he was probably quite pleased with actually, because he did miss one, didn't he, for Switzerland in the Nations League in Portugal against England in the semi-finals, was that? So he probably would have been quite pleased to tuck that away and sent the keeper the wrong way. That came from a handball from a Patrick Roberts corner, who looked reasonably lively. Not fully sharp, I'd say, but you can see there's a little bit of magic in those boots, so he's one to keep an eye on. Emi Buendia was lively, looks quite stocky, as in he's put on a bit of muscle. To be fair, all the Norwich players look in really good shape. Grant Hanley in particular looks like he's lost a bit of timber and slimmed down, and he actually, I would probably say, was just about the best Norwich player today. His use of the ball was really good, very vocal. Tim Krul came on at half-time, made some really good saves. Norwich got through all their subs, and that included Adam Ida for the last 15 minutes. We saw a little bit of the ball right at the end of the game, by which point Bielefeld had equalised with a really lovely finish, to be fair. I think from one of their young lads, it was very difficult to keep track of their players because they had 17 subs on the bench, besides the fact that we don't really know their players that well, obviously. That was the 86th minute, so that's what made it 2-2. But then in the final minute, Marcus Stiepermann went clean through, Pukki and Ida split, so Stiepermann had a clean run on goal. Essentially it was like a penalty situation, really, but the keeper guessed right, kept it out. Pukki then hit the post, Ida kept it alive, teed up Stiepermann again, and the keeper again guessed right from an even closer range. So that was literally the last play of the game. Norwich had to settle for a 2-2. You know, the result's fairly immaterial, but at least they didn't lose to a team who looked reasonably sharp on the whole, but of course did play for an hour with 10 men, so there's frustrations there for Norwich, but you're not going to get too worked up about that. I guess they will probably at this point just be keen to get back to their hotel, have a chat with the physios, see where things are, but Daniel Farker and Stuart Webber may well have to have a chat on the transfer front to see whether they're going to need some defensive reinforcement. I think we already know that they needed a right back to compete with Max Aarons, but if Louis Thompson has now got an issue, then that may need to be accelerated as well. So certainly an interesting start to pre-season. Head over to PinkUn.com for the report. We had our new live update service today, which hopefully went pretty well. We had some nice comments through about that, so if you want to sort of catch up on the game, you can do with that. But for now, we'll sign off from Gutterslow. First pre-season friendly of 2019 for Norwich, and it's finished 2-2 against Arminia Bielefeld. Cheers.